Okay, this instrument here is called the triple beam balance, and this is what's used to find the mass of an object. If you remember from our video from density, mass is how much stuff is in an object or how much matter it has. So we're always going to measure that in grams. Volume was measured in milliliters or cubic centimeters, as we learned the other night, but mass is always measured in grams, and we can do variations like kilograms and milligrams and stuff like that, but we'll just stick to the basic unit of grams. Now, the triple beam balance has certain parts to it. You have what's called the pan, which is where you place the object that you're massing. You have the adjustment knob, which is the knob that you turn to try to balance this out before you get started. You have your triple beams or your riders, and you have three different types of riders. You have the 100 grams rider, you have the 10 grams rider, and then the 1 grams rider. And those are basically named after how many grams they go up. All right, and then you have the pointer here. The pointer is the thing you are going to look at to make sure you have it balanced. Now, the goal of using a triple beam balance is making sure that this pointer and this line lines up with that line, so you're balancing it out. A balance is basically a miniature version of the scale in the nurse's office, and I'm sure you remember what that's like. You step on it, and then the nurse is going to move the mass on over until it balances out, and there's your weight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the light bulb and I'm going to place it on the pan. Okay, now that we have the light bulb in the pan, you can see that there's an imbalance here. Okay, things are unequal. I have mass over here, but nothing to even it out. So the pointer has shot all the way to the top. So what we have to do is find the right amount of mass here on our riders and drop this pointer down to this line. So the first thing you want to do is start off with the 100 grams, and you keep going until it starts to move. So 100 grams isn't enough to move it, so I'm going to go to 200 grams. 200 grams is not enough, so I'm going to move it again. 300 grams drops it to the end. We know that 300 grams is too much mass, so we bring it back. Once we figure out how many hundreds of grams an object may have, then we go to the tens to try to get a more accurate reading. So I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, it's starting to drop, so we keep going. 40, that's close, but it's not perfectly lined up. So we then go to 50. If you take a look at 50, 50 has now dropped the pointer below the line. So 50 grams on this rider is too much, so we move it back to 40. Now we have to go to our ones rider. So our ones rider, typically on a balance in class, you want to use your pencil tip to move it across, because if you use your fingers, you might bounce it up and down. You have to waste time waiting for it to settle. But if you're careful enough with your pencil tip, you can move it across with very little movement and bouncing. So we're just going to move this across right now. So let's drag the ones rider over until we get a perfect balance. Okay, so I'm moving it, and it's not lined up yet, so I'm going to continue to move it. Okay, so if we take a look, we are perfectly balanced at this point here. So now what I have to do is I have to figure out how many grams I moved on the ones rider. As you can see, I've moved to 5 grams here, but I had to go past 5 grams. So now I have to figure out how many tenths of a gram that I moved over. This is 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, and the arrow lands at 5.6. So I had to move over 5.6 grams on that rider. Now all you have to do next is add them up. You take the 200 grams and you add the 40 grams that you position the riders at. So that gives you a total of 240. And then you take a look at the 1 gram that you moved, which is 5.6. All you have to do is then add 240 plus 5.6, and that'll give you a total mass of 245.6 grams. And that's how much mass this light bulb has. That's how you use a triple beam balance, and that's also how you use a graduated cylinder to find the volume of something. So those are the tools that we're going to be using, and I hope this video was helpful.